Hi. How are you? So I've been head down bum up for a little while, and I've been working on, I guess a lot of people call them child chart readings. I've decided to call mine the Book of Me, and so I have been head down bum up trying to create these. I've got a few orders to get me started, which is really exciting. Anyway, the stuff bloody blows my mind, and so I wanted to share with you, so kind of give you an example of how much we can learn about, in particular, our children, if not ourselves, by simple things like just their astrology and their human design chart. So I recently launched the Book of Me, which is literally like this 10-page book that looks at astrology. I'll try and put this through. That looks at astrology and your human design elements, and kind of just pulls it all together so you have an understanding of your child. So this is one I recently finished, and I just want to say there's lots of readings out there, obviously, and I wanted to make mine different by making them really practical. And so I'm going to I'm just quickly showing you what's involved. Visuals and stuff I find really helpful. Wait a minute, I've got my cat jumping up. Anyway, so that's that. Anyway, so I wanted to share with you, even if you only knew your child's sun sign. So I'm going to use an example. So for this beautiful young man, he is Taurus. Now I don't know too much about Taurus. Well, I didn't until I started doing research for his reading. Anyway, so if you're Taurus or you know of one, the generalized kind of traits of Taurus are sensual, touch, being connected to the earth, being affectionate, having a strong attachment to material things, to wealth, to even vanity. And they're like solid, they're like their comfort zone. Things need to be consistent. And so it's no surprise that they're quite determined and quite stubborn as well. Anyway, so what I did is a quick brainstorm, because I wanted to kind of share this with you. I kind of took those traits and thought, okay, well, how could these show up in kids? So these are like things that you could actually look for and see to kind of help and understand your child more. So for Taurus kids, they can be really serious and difficult to predict. So there's that stubbornness and the determinedness coming through from their sun sign. What's interesting about the reading I just did, so he's Taurus, he's actually emotional authority as well. What does that mean? His emotions drive his decisions. So for me, I just went ding, ding, ding. Okay, there's something that I can help the parents kind of understand how to use his human design and astrology to manage, support, and nurture those times when he's serious and difficult to predict. So Taurus kids have to basically, parents have to learn to just ride through the storms. So for this particular child, this is going to show up in as an emotional wave. So part of the human design, he has this emotional wave. It's just like this constant wave of emotions. And so another thing that really stands out for Taurus kids as well is that they are emotionally vulnerable. So just really susceptible to blame, criticism, and discipline when it's not fair, when it's kind of pointed at them. So hugely interesting, I believe. Anyway, the other thing is, so Taurus is all about senses. So touch is really important to them. They like the way things feel. So not just like in a physical sense, but just like maybe how an environment feels, how, I don't know, it feels, you know, like the senses, you know, like the touch, the taste, the see, the hear, all of that kind of stuff. So what's really interesting is for Taurus kids is it's really cool to kind of nurture them in things kind of with their hands. So they love to work with their hands. So is it building? Is it baking? Is it Lego? Is it Play-Doh? But just like it's this tactile, like this is kind of what they love. And when I was doing this chart for this awesome young man, his super sense, which I learned through human design, is touch. So again, like this combination of how astrology and the human design kind of meet to kind of nurture him. So, so for him, it's kind of just knowing that touch is really important. So he's going to learn and develop through things through the physical touch. And obviously for Taurus as well, like affection and that sensualness is really important as well. But a thing to note there too is that Taurus kids don't like to be overwhelmed with affection. So I guess it's kind of having this knowledge and just going, okay, I know that physical touch for him to learn is really important, but actually I don't need to overwhelm him with the touching and stuff. So yeah, I just think that's really curious. I'm saying lots of apologies because I'm looking at my notes at the same time. The other thing that I found really interesting, part of the Taurus sun sign, is that solid, that consistent, having the comfort zones. And when I look at this beautiful boy's chart, his profile, which is basically kind of like the feeling for your life, like how you see yourself and how other people see you. His profile is all about learning which relationships are good for him, and also his life, especially in the first 30 years, is going to be a whole lot of trial and error. He's going to learn through mistakes. So as a parent, what's interesting is just having the understanding, just going, okay, well, it doesn't work for me to push him to do things before he's ready, and I need to show him how relationships work, what relationships are good for him. And yeah, and I just found that quite interesting, this whole Taurus child thing. Don't push them or encourage them ahead of themselves, like don't push them to be more than they are. And then on the human design side of it, there's just this knowledge of not to kind of force them out into the world, that actually having that comfort zone, the consistency at home is really important. And as a parent, you're just there to kind of support and nurture that. And so those were kind of like three things that really stood out to me. And so while I was doing this chart, I was just like, oh my gosh, he's a Virgo moon. Oh my gosh, he's like Taurus sun sign. Oh my gosh, he's a projector. Like all of these things just kind of connected. And I got to see obviously a lot about this young man. And as his parent, just kind of having this knowledge and awareness, because obviously the whole point of this isn't to change things or change like the way you parent as such. It's kind of just having this awareness and just knowing, okay, probably not best for me to be overly affectionate. Glances and words of affirmation are really, really powerful for this child. So, you know, maybe I'm just going to, that's just the one thing I'm going to do a bit differently. I know that he just needs a really stable environment, and that forcing him to do things before he's ready is not going to work. He's emotional, so we're just going to be constantly riding this wave. But I know he's a Virgo moon. I'm just going to go to my notes. He's a Virgo moon, so I know that he emotionally, like his emotional personality, is practical things. So again, like the Taurus as well with possessions and stuff, it's like, okay, when he's riding this emotional wave, how can I support him in that? And it's considering things like decluttering, creating his own rituals, and having natural healing techniques. So whether that's essential oils or Reiki, things to do again with that touch. Anyway, I'm not too sure if I pulled that all together. I've just been so excited doing this for this wonderful little boy, and just combining all this knowledge about him from the astrology and human design, and just knowing that if he chooses to, he's going to be an amazing healer. And healer can look many different ways, but if he's really nurtured and like that, how he can use physical touch, not just in his learning and development, but in a way of kind of healing for himself. Like, wow, just like so much potential. And as a parent, just knowing that, and maybe just providing more opportunities for him to be exposed to those types of things, you know, massage, sensory play, like all that kind of stuff. Just so juicy. Anyway, I'm going to leave you to it. I really just wanted to kind of quickly show you what the book of me looks like, what information I can kind of share and pull out for you, whether it's for you or for your child. And like I say, it's not like a parenting to do, is just having an awareness of how your child's energy is, and just little things you can possibly just try out and see if it helps. Because we're not all the same, we are unique, and this stuff, I believe, is really just like a soul blueprint, and just reminds us of who we uniquely are, and that we are just bloody perfect and complete just as we are. And sometimes it's just taking off those layers that are kind of been put on, and just knowing. And for me as a mum, the awareness is having it, so there's less layers put on. It ain't easy, but it's like I say, it's that awareness is cool. Anyway, that's me for now. I will just keep blabbering otherwise. I'm going to chuck the link for the book for me if you're interested about getting one for you or your child. All you need are the birth details, so date, exact time and location. Anyway, ta-ta.